Hello friends, how's it going today? Chelsea Face here. Very excited because today I'm going to tell you about all the books that I read in the month of December 2020. Let's get into that. Okay, so these aren't really in any particular order. I kind of got them mixed up when I was fixing my Goodreads shelf. So they're not in reading order or anything. They're just kind of all together. So forgive me for that, but I have a ton of books here. I actually read a ton of manga this month because I was doing the 25 days of manga. I didn't complete the challenge, but I ended up reading 17 books total. So, or at least different franchises total. Some of them I read multiple in the series, but I'll show them to you. Let's get into that. It'll be fun. First, I read Calling You. This is a short story little collection. I think there's like 2 or 3 stories in this. It is by Otsuchi and art is by Setsuri Suzuki. Kimi ni Shika Kokoenai. I'm not sure what that means honestly, but this is a older Tokyo Pop release back in the day. Pretty good. I think I gave it 3 stars. I liked maybe 1 or 2 of the stories, but there was one I didn't really like. I can't really tell you much about these stories. One of them is about wishing you had a cell phone and then all of a sudden you have one in your head and you can telepath with one person, and it's really sad. And then there's one about a kid who's abused in his home and he lives in a foster home and he's abused and he meets someone else who's abused, and that's really sad. And then there's another one, I just can't remember what that one's about at all. So if it's really sad, like this whole thing is just really, really deep and dark and sad. So if you think you can handle that, and find a copy of this, because I did find this on Mercari used and it's older and sometimes people have trouble finding this one, I recommend it enough. It was pretty good. Definitely not something that I would put in a favorites list, but it's still pretty good. The next thing I read was volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Mitamo Kiss. This is a middle grade, I think, manga series by Sora Omote. Not sure how you say that name, but it's only a 3-volume series completed. And it's a story about this girl, forget her name, and this guy, forget his name, but he does look like Hatsuharu from Fruits Basket, honestly. Apparently, he lives in a family where no one tells him this, which is weird. There's a lot of things I have to say about this series, which I made vlogs about each of these. If you want to go watch them, go look through my Vlogmas because I talk about each of them in length there. Pretty much when they kiss someone who's supposed to be their soulmate, they switch bodies with them. So they end up kissing. It's drama. It's pretty silly. There's a couple of word usages in these that aren't good. Like they use the R word in one of them and I was like, that's outdated real bad. It's okay. I gave this whole series 3 stars. I might do 2.5, 3 stars on this. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't great. I don't know if I'm going to keep it yet. I haven't fully decided, but it's not one that I would really recommend to a lot of people unless you just really wanted to live through nostalgia like I did. That's the whole reason I got this, is because I read the first volume when I was in high school. The next thing I read was Ion, I-O-N, by Irena Tanemura. This is her first published work as far as I know. This is a one-shot. It's pretty thick and I really liked this. I gave it 4 stars. I think that this was a really well done story. I think I would have liked to have seen more of it, honestly. One shot was fine, but I like the idea of it. So I think it would be really fun to see a little bit longer series, maybe like 7 volumes or something. Beautiful art, of course, very extravagant for Irena Tanemura's style. You know how that is if you've read any of her work. But the characters have flaws. They're definitely not perfect. And it's a story about this girl named Ion, I guess. Ion. And when she says her name, chants it a certain way, it gives her telekinetic powers. So I think like at one point she flies and at one point she makes things move. It's hard for me to remember this, honestly. I'll have to reread it, but I reviewed it in a vlog and it was cute. I enjoyed it. There were some decisions made in here that were kind of but teenagers, they make decisions, so I recommend it enough. Next, I read Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1. I borrowed this from my library, so I don't have a physical copy of it. It's a story about a character who goes on a date with this girl that he likes from a coffee shop that he randomly finds, and he likes her, she's cute, and finds out that she's a ghoul and she attacks him. He turns into a ghoul through crazy circumstances that I don't want to spoil. And so he's half ghoul now, and he has to deal with either eating people and just becoming a ghoul and just being nasty, because in this world, ghouls are it's kind of like demi-humans, like Ajin I told you guys about, eat people. And it's just kind of like a thing that society has to deal with. And like if they can't eat too many people, it's like they get like a balance that it's okay with the government or whatever. And they each have their own territories. There's like an ecosystem within the Ghoul Society. You're learning about them and sympathizing with them, but also I think he's going to struggle with eating people. Like, he doesn't want to eat people because he's half person. So I think he's going to try not to eat people from what I gather from the context clues. And I just really enjoyed it. I think it's a very good horror series, very actiony. Probably going to be very, very sad in the end. I've got a good feeling that I'm going to have to cry or something, but we'll see. You know, I hope to continue it. I might read it through the Shonen Jump app though, because it is, you know, decently long series. My Little Monster Volume 1. This is another library pickup. This series feels like another one that's on this list. Honestly, I read it for the 25 Days of Manga and I reviewed it in that. So once again, I'm going to stop recommending that vlog series, I promise. But you should go check it out if you want me to fully dive into these manga, because I do in every single episode. This one's about a girl who meets this guy. She's very like to herself, very isolated, very antisocial. She's slightly stuck up. She's smart. She wants to be like the best of class. She wants to be rich one day. So she's trying to be very smart and get top marks and everything. And she meets this guy who skips school, and he's not perfect, and he has a lot of issues, and he has a lot of dark past, and he lets people walk all over him, and she just like becomes friends with him, and I think they're gonna fall in love. And it's very cute and very woman tames beast, but beast also tames woman kind of thing. And I'm very interested to see where this goes. I'm not sure how long it is, but I gave this volume 4 stars. I think it has a lot of potential, and I can't wait to eventually continue it. Next, I read Ajin Demi-Human. This is a series about a character who finds out that he isn't exactly human. He falls into the category of creatures called Ajin, or demi-humans, and when they die, they come back to life. So they are kind of immortal. They're trying to figure out if they can actually die, but the government capture these people, creatures, and tortures them forever. Like, they murder them over and over again, studying them supposedly. It's him trying to escape from getting caught by multiple countries and their governments. I gave this 5 stars. Fantastic. Hope to continue it. It is so, so good. Love it. Highly recommend. The next thing I read is Angel Dust by Aoi Nanase. This is a one-shot. I think this was published in the ADV Manga New Type USA kind of thing. The art is very 90s. It's got a lot of the pointy hair style going on here, if you see what I'm talking about. Very cute though. It's very, very precious series. Very short. I think there might be a second one that's like separate, but it's also kind of connected in a different type of way. This is a story about our character here who wears glasses. They're broken off here, but she's very smart and timid, and she doubts herself a lot, and she finds out that she's like got this spirit within her and she flies or something. It's very science fiction-y, fantasy driven, and then she ends up being in the middle of like a war between these people, this other character that flies. It's very confusing. I did understand it a lot better this time around than I did when I read it when I was younger, because I've had this since I was little. I recommend it enough. I gave it 4 stars, but honestly I can't remember much about it, so I guess that means that it's good to reread and keep, because I did enjoy it enough, but it's honestly not the most memorable thing, so it was interesting. The next thing I read was Volume 1 of Be an Angel. I did not like this. I read this when I was younger. I only have the first 6 volumes, I think, 5 or 6. I think it's great for kids. I think this is a series that a lot of people will really enjoy, and I've even heard that it's coming back to be reprinted. So cool, I guess, but it's not for me. It's a little too immature. I don't care for most of the characters. I think I only really like Daisuke, which is the main character. He is, I think, 14, and he's apparently hit the age where he's going to start turning into the Phantom Thief Dark, which is this older, taller, more handsome debonair character who steals artifacts from museums and places like that. And he has a reason for doing it, but I cannot remember what they are. And honestly, I don't really care to continue to find out. I can just spoil it by looking it up if I'm really that curious eventually. I'm selling my volumes because I don't like it anymore. It's something I grew out of for sure. And I think it's more middle grade than anything, but it just wasn't for me. I gave it 2 stars. Art's great. A lot of the plot is just kind of weird and doesn't make sense if you like really think about it. Like, there's a middle grade school kid who is apparently the head of a police force, which doesn't make any sense at all, and I just don't get it. But you know, if you like it, you like it. I'm not gonna judge you, but not for me, for sure. Next, I read Volume 1 and 2 of Wotakoi, Life is Hard for Otaku. This is a omnibus with volumes 1 and 2 in it, and that's how they'll be printed in America, at least. This is the cover for volume 2. It's got these other 2 characters. This is a story about 2 different nerdy couples, gaming, anime, video games, like those kind of things, card games, get together. These 2 because they're nerdy and they don't want to be made fun of. And it's kind of just them casually dating, but also hanging out with each other and not being embarrassed for who they are. And then the other couple has already been established, but they're really cute. They fight all the time, but they love each other. And it's just a really fun series, really funny. It's got an Amazon series, so if you want to watch it instead, you can. Highly recommend it. Absolutely cracked me up the entire time. Very episodically told, so some people do not like that, but I loved it. Very, very fun. I gave it 5 stars very easily. Love it. The next things I read were volumes 1 and 2 of Beastmaster. This is a completed manga by Kyosuke Motomi. This is by Viz Media, older teen, supposedly. I think that's just because of the blood. Series about a character who, she meets this guy and he's very animalistic. Like you think, oh, maybe he is an animal, like humanoid form, but you know, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's not exactly what you think. She has to tame him. He's very wild and crazy, and he'll beat up people who annoy him and like try to hurt her, and they become very close, and it's a very sweet story between the two of them. I gave the first volume 4 stars and the second one 5 stars, and I liked it. I think it was cute. The art isn't my favorite, but that's just indicative of the time and the artist. It's okay. It's not terrible. I'm looking at it now. It's not exactly my favorite art style. Decently written. Characters are definitely flawed. They're human. I just liked it. I think it's a fun time, and I reviewed it fully in those blogs. My freaking Kuwabara pop keeps jumping off my shelf, and it's annoying the heck out of me. Hey, Kuwabara! Darn you. The next thing I read is Mistress Fortune by Irena Tanemura. This is another one-shot by her, and I got this used. It's very pretty. The colors are everything. I absolutely love the way that this looks. It's rated T for teen, and it's a story about these two characters. I forget their names, but there's a girl and a boy. They are magical. They have psychic powers. They work for a government agency about psychics, and she's in love with him, and you don't know if he likes her. So it's just kind of them working together and her trying to tell him her feelings or come to terms with her feelings, and know that they can never be together because they're not allowed to date because they work together. But at the end, it's kind of like, who knows? It's cute. I liked it okay. I gave it 3 stars. I recommend it enough if you like Irena Tanemura and you want to read all of her work. I think it's very cute. And the art is, of course, you know, typical for Irena Tanemura, very busy but very pretty. I like her characters a lot. They're very fun. But yeah, the next thing I read is Parasite Volume 1 by Hitoshi Iwaki. This is a horror series about a character named Shinichi who becomes slightly possessed by an alien creature in his hand called Migi, which I think literally means hand. It's very horror, very bloody, gory, dark. But him coming to terms with he has to live with this creature and figure out more about them and try to understand why are they killing all these people, why are people awful. And it really toes the line between, are humans really the superior race? Like, do we really deserve the planet over these creatures? Who knows? It's really good, really funny, really dark, really sweet at times. It has like a romance in it. So I loved it. 5 stars all the way around. Highly recommend this series. I can't wait to finish it. Next, I read Sneeze. This is a Naoki Urasawa short story collection. I gave it 4 stars. This is a random thing I got on NetGalley. I just wanted to check it out. It's a 1-volume short story collection. It was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars, and I think it's because I liked some of the stories more than others, but I can't really remember much about it. Honestly, there was one story about an autobiographical story about music. A lot of this was about music. I can't remember much about it, but I liked it. So, Next, I read Shortcake Cake Volume 10. I just don't feel like pulling it out of the shelf at this point. This is the newest volume of Shortcake Cake. The 11th one comes out in February, so I'm very excited to receive that when I do. And the series probably won't be going for much longer. I'm going to guess it's going to be like 14 volumes, maybe. But it's so sweet. It's just becoming this beautiful story about friendship and trying to help each other be your best self and be the happiest you can be. And I just really love our main character and our friends here. It's just so cute. Highly recommend it. I have to run through these last 3 really quickly because my camera's running out of film. So also there's been a lot of changes in the background in my face. The next thing I read was Fangirl Volume 1. I read this from NetGalley. It was very good. The art's fantastic. It's by Rainbow Rowell, and the artist is listed here on the cover for you. It's about a story about this girl who's going to college. She wants to be a writer, and she meets these people. She's kind of lonely, and she's had a boyfriend, and then there might be a breakup going on between some people, and it's her just being a fan of pretty much that wizard thing, but she's like, it's called a different thing in this series. So she like writes fan fiction and she wants to become an actual writer, even though mostly she just writes fan fiction. So I'm sure it's going to be a big, exploration of her learning what she can and can't write about in her classes. And there's 2 different characters right now who I think are going to be the love interest, but I only read the first volume. The second one's not out yet, but I do recommend it. I haven't read the actual original book that this was, inspired by and done from, but I really like the manga so far. I highly recommend it. Next thing I read is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the fantasy series. I think it's only 3 books, and then there's like a short story collection that had just come out recently about one of the characters, and I like this pretty well. I think that it has a lot of good things going on in it. There's something missing though, and I don't know what it is. I think that I'll figure it out once I finish the series though, maybe. But I don't really fall for a terrible character who's actually really liked the main character the whole time kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm sorry if that's a spoiler, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this series yet, but I did like the first one. I gave it 4 stars, so I do recommend it enough. The last thing I read in the month of December 2020 is No Exit by Taylor Adams. This is a book that I've had on my TBR forever. I've wanted to read it since I remember hearing people talk about it, and I did finally find a used copy that's book of the month at like a Goodwill or something. And so I had to read it. I was very, very excited and I was not disappointed. I gave it 5 stars. Very, very good. Very fun for me. I love a good horror, thriller, mystery, action-y thing. And that's what this was. This was a story about a girl who is kind of down on her luck. Her mom and her don't have a good relationship. Her sister either. Her mom's dying and she's on her way to, I guess, say her last words to her mother. And she gets stuck at this truck stop in the snow. So she can't go anywhere for like at least 24 hours. And she meets all these people, and one of them ends up having a child locked in their vehicle, and she sees it and she's trying to figure out whose it is and how to save the child. So it's just a bunch of drama, a bunch of racing, scary moments, and a lot of mind play, and it's just really, really good. I really, really like this. I think it's thrilling, and I didn't expect a lot of things, and I just really liked it. I do recommend that one for sure. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry I rushed the last part of it, but my camera's being weird, and I don't understand it. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.